Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm sharing my card for the current Lawn Fawnatics challenge number 87, which is a card sketch. So I'm going to switch it up a bit, but for this card I'm using the tiny gingerbread, a creature was steering, as well as the outside in stitched star stackables, and then this adorable pattern paper. So I'm going to switch this card sketch a bit because I'm using a star. In the sketch there is a heart, and if I have more time I'm going to try to create a card with a heart as well. But for now I really wanted to use these stars. It has been a while that I used these ones, so this was a perfect occasion. So for my card I'm using a small amount of images, also with the sketch. I just didn't want to overload it. I wanted to have enough critters on there, but yeah, as you saw in the beginning, it's filled enough with these. So the gingerbread is the first time that I'm using them, and I just thought with the little scene that I was going to create, it was an adorable addition to this one because they are tiny and just wonderful. So I'm first going to color all my browns. I didn't want all the browns to be the same, so I decided to have some darker gingerbreads, men's, or having them as chocolate cookies, I don't know, whatever you prefer. And then of course the house is a bit lighter, and then the little mouse will be even more lighter than the cookies. So that's how I'm coloring it, and then the accessories will all be pink because I thought that it would match with the background with all the pattern papers. So that's really simple coloring. I didn't use a lot of Copic markers, so that's always handy if you don't have a lot of them. You don't need a lot of them for such cards. So with everything colored in, I'm using the matching dies to cut everything out, and then I can start on my background. So for my background, I'm already taking my card base because I'm going to add everything directly on top of it. And I'm using my permanent print adhesive roller because I'm just going to lay my background flat on top of it. So here I have some strips of the pattern paper, and for the sides it was just important that it would completely fill the rest of the card. My middle piece, however, is 1 inch and 3/4. So that was important to know because I needed to adhere it right in the middle, as straight as possible, and that was a bit fiddling. I didn't really know how I was going to tackle that, but I just decided to first trim off the excess of these 2 strips, and then I could easily measure where I needed to add my middle strip. So with my middle strip being 1 inch and 3/4 of an inch, I had 1 inch and 1/4 of an inch left on each side. So the other 2 strips could have been that size, but I just wanted to be sure that it would be enough, so I just didn't measure them specifically for that. And that is my background. Really simple, adorable pattern papers. They match perfectly with each other. And then for my scenery, I decided to die cut this star also from some pattern paper and some Neenah, because I wanted to add it on top of the Neenah to make it a bit sturdier, to have a little bit of dimension. And that's how I am going to add my scene. So the little star was an addition that I wanted to add because I have that one cookie that is a bit bitten off, and I just thought that it was cute to have on a little star. So that's an addition to the sketch, but a sketch is just a guideline, and it's important to sort of see the sketch, in my opinion, but then you have to do your own thing with it. So if you want to add a little bit of additional elements, I think that's perfectly fine. But just make sure that you can recognize the original sketch. That's how I tackle sketch challenges. So I'm figuring out how I want my images, and I'm going to add them using liquid glue and a bit of thin foam squares. And then once I'm happy with that, I'm going to add everything to my card base. And then it's time to tackle the sentiment. For the sentiment, I'm using that one from the Tiny Gingerbread stamp set. It's really adorable, and since the little mouse is baking all sorts of cookies, I just thought it would be perfect for this card. So the sentiment says, "Have a sweet Christmas," and I'm going to heat emboss this with white onto black cardstock. This black cardstock is from Concord the 9th. My other black cardstocks are just run out, so I'm using this one. I'm making sure that I'm prepping the cardstock, and then I'm using my Versamark clear embossing ink, and I'm using the Ranger embossing powder white super fine detail. Now I'm going to trim off the excess, and then I can adhere this strip on top of my card base. So to adhere this sentiment strip, I'm going to use some Dairies foam strips, which are really handy for sentiments. They have a perfect width. And here I was wondering how I was going to place this little one. I was wondering whether this one was a bit too much or not. But then again, yeah, the original idea, I just kept the original idea that I had. This one is running away before it gets eaten, which is a wonderful idea if you're a gingerbread man. So I just made sure that my sentiment was aligned straight, and then I added this runner on the right side of the sentiment. I also contemplated whether I was going to add it inside of my card, but then I just thought you never know, the cards that you make in front, I just never know for who they are. So some people I write a lot to, others I just write Merry Christmas. So in case I was going to write a lot for my recipient, I decided to not add it inside of my card. Now I'm adding some Stickles as my final details onto this card, and then this one will be finished. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Of course, if you did, you can give this one a thumbs up. If you are lacking inspiration, which a lot of people are experiencing at this current moment, we are not in an ideal situation with the whole pandemic. These challenges can really get you going. In my opinion, sketch challenges really help you. You can just take a stamp set that you like and do something with it, basing yourself on a sketch. That can always help, but never pressure yourself to create something if you aren't up for it. Okay, we just have to have fun. So with that being said, I hope that you have a wonderful day. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon. Bye!